Hello, thanks for checking out my BMW 3 Series. It is a E92 Coupe from 2010. It's the facelift model, which was revised shortly before they went over to the new style 3 Series, the F Series. So I've had this a good number of years, since 2019. It is a lovely car, really nice to drive and in good condition. You have to excuse it's a bit damp, recording this in January. Just giving it a quick wet, waterless wash, because it's a bit dusty being in storage. So you might see some damp looking patches on the panels in the video potentially. So what can I say about it? It drives really nicely. Pretty much a full service history. There was a few gaps in the early days, maybe sort of 10,000 odd miles out, something like that. But ever since I've had it, anything it's needed, which hasn't been much to be fair, it has had done. All 4 ABS sensors and otherwise general routine servicing, discs, pads and tyres and that kind of thing really. So it is the SE model. I think the other option was the M Sport. Have driven both. I personally prefer the SE due to the suspension setup. It still gives razor sharp handling, but it's a bit more compliant over the bumps and potholes on the UK roads, which are pretty terrible. I just find the M Sport a little bit crashy. Styling wise, I don't think there's too much in them. You'll see shortly I changed the door kind of puddle lights because they had kind of cracked, and rather than showing the BMW logo, now showed a kind of spider effect. So I've replaced those, and the ones I got hold of were some M Sport ones. Condition wise, I say it's a very nice, tidy car. Looks really good. Of course, it is 160,000 miles, and now 15 years old. So there's going to be some stone chips. There's going to be the odd kind of hairline scratch, maybe the odd very tiny parking dink if I can think where they were. I think the main thing that lets these down really is the alloys, which are a bit scuffed and have a bit of corrosion going on. Front tyres are brand new. I'm sure, yeah, it was the fronts I've had done recently at the last MOT. Same at the back wheels are a little bit better than the fronts, but still there's the odd kind of blemish on them. Again, back tyres, loads and loads of tread on them, really good. This alloy, pretty much the same, matching tyre, loads of tread. And again, the front one is quite scuffed around the edges, unfortunately, and a bit of kind of corrosion, but again, brand new tyre on there. So you can see decent sized boot, nice, clean and tidy as well. Usual kind of storage compartments in the sides. So we can see the M Sport logos, which are in the door bottoms that I fitted. Also has, well, it's not on at the minute. Just under the handle there, also extra illumination, which is pretty cool. Then if we look inside then, so we've got the cream leather sports seats, which were an optional extra. They're electrically operated and heated and have a memory setting. This car has 2 keys, and you can program the seats, the position of the seats, and also the position of the mirrors as well, to your desired position basically, and it will store it on the keys. So if 2 of you want to drive it, one might sit forwards, one might sit back, have your own key. As soon as you unlock the car, the seats will do their thing basically. So plenty of adjustment in the seats, as I say, heated as well. In the back, as we can see, all nice, really good condition. I say the only wear on the seat is just on the very edge here. The other option it has is the piano black trim, so kind of black paneling around the car and in the middle, which I think goes well with the cream. Also has the iDrive system, which again is optional. And it has the iDrive control down there as well. So it has obviously AM, FM radio, Bluetooth. So what I do is obviously play Spotify or any DAB radio station via TuneIn via the Bluetooth system. Also has sat-nav, which works, although it's probably from 2010, so I'd rather use Google Maps personally. I'd imagine it's a little bit out of date, but it does have it if you wish. I have to apologise that the windscreen looks a bit dirty, it's a bit dusty, but obviously we'll give that a good clean up. Obviously auto lights, auto wipers, all the kind of usual things you would expect really. Cruise control, dual zone climate as well. So if you've got any questions about its equipment, then ask by all means. So just fired it up. So it's a little bit low on fuel, so that's why there's a triangle on the dash and the fuel light is on there. But yeah, otherwise we've got no issues, just giving it a service, so it's all good to go. So yeah, you've also got your radio stations. You've got menu with where it also kind of stores its kind of service data as well. The sat nav and your Bluetooth. We just jump out then. As we can see, it's got the later LED style rear lights. It's got the Xeon headlights as well. If we look inside, it also has the sort of mood lighting in the doors. If it will pick up, you might just about able to see. There we go, the orange strip in the doors. Same at the back as well. Obviously we've got map lighting. It has emergency call there. It does actually work. I didn't think it would. So even without a mobile phone, the car obviously has a SIM card in it, and when you press that, it calls the emergency services for you. Potentially does it by itself if you had a crash. I don't want to test it out personally. Yeah, so I can't think what else to really show inside at the moment. Obviously mileage then, we're on 170,000 miles. I'll pop the bonnet, we'll have a look, but it does run beautifully smoothly. Really nice car to drive, loads of performance. See, being the 325, it wasn't such a common model, but basically the 325 has the same, I think it's the N57, but it's just on this model year, has the same engine as the 330D. I don't know about the 335D, but certainly the 330D, exactly the same hardware, just slightly detuned at the ECU. So if you wanted a 330, then, but you can't find one, or you kind of like this but wish it was had the 330 engine, and the good news, it does have the 330 engine, and you can get it remapped to the same specs as a 330, and you can also take it much higher as well. You can take it to 300 and something odd brake horsepower, and masses of torque as well. I did look into it, but to be fair, I find this has enough grunt for me really. I didn't see the points in the end. That was my initial plan though. Economy wise, so I I kind of get around about 40, I think it was, about 40 miles per gallon. But you, I say on a run at about 50, 60 miles an hour constant, then it will get up quite easily to 50 miles per gallon. Just depends what you're doing really. Obviously if you're doing start, stop, town driving, then you're going to be looking at sort of like late 30s. But yeah, I kind of got a mix of about 40, that's a mix of motorway, country lane, and a little bit of town work. So yeah, a decent balance of performance and economy, which is why I like this car so much really. So obviously it's still a little bit cold, but you can hear that it runs really nice and smoothly, and all nice and clean as well, which is good. Doesn't use any oil, never have to top it up, unlike my little cars that have like the sort of more modern little 3-cylinder petrol engines. Always needed a top up, but this never needs a top up, which is good news. Just noticed the cover on this light is missing here. I do have that, so I forgot to put it back on. Had a issue with the Angel eyes. These have headlights, have numerous little mini ECUs inside them, and so had to remove the headlight and replace one of the like micro ECUs inside it, which I did do a video on, which I will put on my YouTube channel at some point for people that might be interested. Yeah, cover isn't missing, that will go back on there, just forgot to put it on. So yeah, just to summarise then, so as I say, it's 2010 E92 Coupe. It's the 325D, same engine as the 330D, same hardware, it's just detuned at the ECU. If you want the same power as the 330, you can get it remapped, or you can take it well above that of the 330 if you wish. Drives lovely, as I say, good economy, up to 50 if you're careful. I get around about 40. Generally speaking, it's a tidy looking car, it's just the alloys that let it down a little bit. Otherwise just the odd minor blemish here and there that you would expect from a 15-year-old car with 170k on the clock. Full service history, and it is a private sale, but I will make sure that it is all good to go for the next lucky owner. Thanks very much for looking, and if you have any questions, then give me a shout.